My name is Brenda Creedeman. I'm the Executive Director for Welcome House, Inc. Well, our agency provides a lot of different services, so I'll kind of go in depth of what we do. With Welcome House, the shelter, the new one that we're opening, we will be able to actually house 50 individuals, but they will be families, individuals of families. So about 9 families at a time, and our hope is to rehouse them within 45 days. So that's our main goal, is to take families off the street, get them into safety, and get them back into housing and stop this roller coaster of homelessness that we seem to be having. We also do homeless prevention on many of our clients that call, or anybody from the community. We can help with rental assistance, utility assistance, to keep them in their homes. That we feel that that's probably the key to stopping all this. If we can get it before it gets to that point, we're in a much better situation. We also do something called interfaith with the area churches. They pool their money into one fund, and that gives us the flexibility to do many different things, like it might be transportation, it might be car insurance, car getting fixed. You may need some boots or something for work that we could do. Those are all based on the availability of funding, what the churches give. So although I say we can do transportation, if you call that day, it doesn't mean necessarily that we're going to be able to do the transportation. We put housing first. The prevention, the rapid rehousing, those are our key, and we use interfaith funds for that also. We also have a program called START, which is to work with children of high-risk children, to be able to help them join some of those groups that, like Girl Scouts, or maybe Theo Arts, or some of the other extracurricular activities in the area that they might not be able to go. And maybe they could go, but they can't get there. They might be able to afford the, like Girl Scouts, the fee, but they don't have the transportation to actually make it there. We can help with that. So we have a little scholarship that they can write, and up to $300 per child. So it's pretty good, and that's funded through United Way and other area, funding, like grants and things like that, churches. So we also do extensive case management up to 3 years, where once you become our client in the shelter, once we move you into housing, we will be there for you for up to 3 years, so that if something happens, your car breaks down, you get sick, you need extra medication, you can't make your rent, we're kind of there as a safety net to make sure that we can keep you in that house. We find that the longer, if we can keep them in their home a year or longer, they're less likely to become homeless again. So.
Do you have things like a food pantry?
Well, food pantry, we have for our families when they move out. We will set them up in their kitchens with their food, but it's not an open food pantry. And the reason for that is there are so many in the area, the other agencies. We don't want to duplicate services. In Mandan alone, there's two that I know of that are very good, with AID and with Spirit of Life. They both do very well. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel, and our focus is getting them back into housing. So our food pantry here is basically used for our kitchen. Affordable housing is actually, and I think you're going to hear that over and over again, that's the biggest thing I think in our area, is to be able to actually afford to get in. Well, number one, to get into housing, because there's a fee for the application. So they're running around paying all these fees. By the time they do find a place, they've spent all their money on getting just the application done, that they can't pay for the deposit. So that's number one, is affordable housing. Also background checks. It's a landlord's market right now. So tenants, if you have anything kind of sketchy on your background, or your credit score is a little low, you're going to have a hard time getting a place. And that's partially due to the oil. The rents are very high, and they can kind of pick and choose, and people are paying the rent, so they're getting people who are working long hours, making lots of money, and paying more rent, and that's a big barrier. And then I think supportive housing is really important. I think a lot of agencies need to understand too, and I believe that they do, that our families and individuals that become homeless, they kind of need that wraparound service for some time in order to stay on their feet. I don't think you can say, well, we put you in the house and now you're there, figure it out. I think it's important to get them in the house and then figure those things out with them. Right now, we're trying to focus more on housing first, you know, versus, well, let's fix you and then put you into a house. Let's get you in the house and then fix what's wrong. So, but those are some real big barriers, I think, is just attitude towards people, affordable housing, and so that they have those wraparound services while they're getting back on their feet. We would like you to call first, our clients, because we are a shelter for families only, and this is where we conduct all our business. We have children here, and we don't want to, you know, say, well, you know, you've done this and that, so you can't come here. But we do our interviews on one certain day for rental assistance and that type of thing, and those are usually on Tuesdays. So we ask that you call to make an appointment, and then we will schedule those accordingly. And our number to call is 751-1218. And once you call that number, then we will give you all the details you need on how to get here, and you know what the process is to try and assist you with what we can.